Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all on this fine morning and thank you for that song. That was great. Put us in a nice, cheerful mood, I hope. My name is Holly. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an increasingly elderly woman with salt and pepper hair, blue and red striped shirt on today. Glad to be here. We're glad to have you here. And we hope that you can stay for coffee or tea and conversation after the service. The chalice lighter in the sanctuary is Ryan.
Hey, everybody. I'm back.
The chalice lighting words are A Wild and Holy Vision by Sean Gibson. We light our chalice in the spirit of transformation. Nothing stays the same. Everything moving, shifting, changing. Guide us all to a wild and holy vision of our shared humanity.
Good morning. My name is Becca Reynolds. Again, I'm one of the plethora of Beccas in this congregation. And I stand here for you today, minus one very large kidney stone. I feel so much better. I'm an out and proud trans woman. I'm a redhead. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And today I am wearing a white top with a little black bow, and I have little bow earrings to match. The opening words are from Margaret Weiss. Come into this place with your whole self, the parts that are raw and exposed, the part that is beaming with joy, the part that is seeking the truth, the new, the possibility. Come into this place, open your heart, lay down your burden, lift up your hope for something new to happen. Come into this place with fellow travelers on this journey, some faces new and others familiar, and all welcoming you here. Now to this moment, come, let us worship together. Our song of the month for July is The Sun That Shines. It's number 19 in your gray hymnal. You may stand or sit to sing as you choose, and the words will also be on the screens behind us.
And you can sing better if you're standing, so if you feel like standing, please do.
Christian Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Amber and I use she, her pronouns. And, oh, what else do I need to say about myself? I'm sorry, I'm getting my, I'm getting my thing pulled up that I'm gonna read. I'm wearing I don't even know what color this dress is, but I'm wearing a black cardigan over it. It's a little blue, beige and pink. I have these sundresses that all, I'm wearing black shoes and a black cardigan, so it doesn't matter what color they are. So I just put them on and go. I'm not a morning person. I want simple clothes. I can just easy. Anyway, I am gonna be reading a story. I'm gonna be reading a story today called What is God by Gail Sfar. Once there was a wise woman named Athanerva. Athanerva would travel from town to town in her country, spending a few days, maybe a week, in each town. People came to her with difficult problems or arguments they were having with others, and she would help them find their way towards satisfying answers. One day, when she entered one of the towns on her route, Athanerva heard a lot of arguing. She looked and saw a group of people in a very heated discussion. One person called out, "Athanerva, come here, we need your wisdom." Athanerva approached the group, and the person who had called to her said, "I've been telling people who God is, and they keep saying I'm wrong. I'm worried about them. Help them see what's right, Athanerva." "Well," said Athanerva, "what have you told them?" "I told them there's one true God who loves and cares for us, hears our prayers, and commands us to love one another." And Athanerva said, "You are correct." "What?" said the others. "No, that can't be right." Then one of them said, "I believe there's a God, all right, a God who created the universe, established the laws governing it, set it going, and left. God has no interest in the affairs of humanity. It's up to us to make this world the place we want it to be." And Athanerva said, "You are correct." Then a third person said, "I believe there are many gods and goddesses. They are part of my worship of all nature and the cycle of life." And Athanerva said, "You are correct." "I'm not at all sure there is a God," said the fourth. "I see a divine spark in everything and everybody, but maybe it's just part of human consciousness." And Athanerva said, "You are correct." "Well, I don't believe there's a God at all," said the last person in the group. "But I am truly awestruck when I think about the mystery of the creation of our universe and how we came to be. I believe it's my responsibility to leave my corner of the world better than I found it." And Athanerva said, "You are correct." At this point, everyone was confused. "But how," they said, "can we all be correct when we all have different ideas of what God is or isn't?" "Yes, you all have different visions, but each of those visions can lead you to love and care for each other and this wonderful part of creation we call Earth. And that is the correct vision, however you label it." And as Athanerva left, the people in that group agreed that they didn't need to argue about who was right. They needed to work together to make the world they wanted.
That was a wonderful story. Good morning. My name is Jennifer and I use she, her pronouns. I saw something recently that made me laugh. I hope it does you too. I also identify as clumsy, and those pronouns include oops, ouch, and oh no. I am in the last year of my 50s. I'm relatively tall and I'm wearing a long black and beige dress. Let's see, I am also a member of the Pastoral Care Circle. And as a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. During the week, you may send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone 417-883-3922. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday. We honor each joy and concern with a lighted candle, a symbol of the love we as a community offer for each of these joys and concerns. And this morning, Ryan will be lighting the candles. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. To begin, we hold in love all of us, those present and those absent, and we light a candle for our church community. Before I forget, I want to share a joy. I attended my first Circle Supper last Friday that was graciously hosted by Sherry and Chuck Buchanan and had an absolutely wonderful time. We light a candle of joy. And this is from Sherry, a concern for the Missouri workers who will lose their rights this week to earn paid sick leave. We light a candle of concern for all those workers. Mike Bramer has a concern for Charles Gray. He fell and is pretty banged up. We pray for his successful recovery and we light a candle of concern for Charles. Becca R. shares, I will not be here next Sunday. I will be in Atlanta at a trans conference doing 2 seminars and a keynote address. Wow. We light a candle of joy for Becca's conference. And then let's see, Jesse says, happy birthday to myself. And please send positive thoughts and prayers as I have surgery this week on my tonsils. Oh, yes, we definitely light a candle of both joy and concern for Jesse. Let me see if there's anything on line 1. Allison Lawson shares, my youngest child and I are both looking for a job. Mine is more of a choice. I'm at least going to change employers. He's been unemployed for a few weeks. We light a candle of concern for Allison and her son. We honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We light a candle for all who are impacted. In closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken, we light a candle. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and our minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. And now let us join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life. Thank you, Ryan.
Hello, I'm Christopher Landorf. I have short brown hair, middle-aged man, he, him pronouns, wearing an Atari shirt because I'm that old. All right. So I guess we start with a week in UU history. The week of July 27th, George de Benneville was born in London to French Huguenot parents. I don't know much about history. There's apparently a Protestant group in France. As a young man, very worried about hell, he had visions of Jesus and converted to Universalism. He became an itinerant preacher in France, where he was arrested and condemned to death for his insistence that every person, no exceptions, is restored to grace. He was brought before the guillotine, but King Louis XV granted him a last-minute reprieve. After preaching in Germany and Holland again, being imprisoned, de Benneville left Europe in 1741, headed for the American colonies. In addition to being the first preacher of universalism in the New World, George de Benneville was a medical doctor, teacher, writer, translator, friend of the refugees, and an advocate for Native American rights and the welfare of indentured servants. He was friends with both Benjamin Franklin and Benjamin Rush. He died in 1793 at the age of 90. Today's offering, we bring our gifts to support the work of building inclusive and just communities, is one of the many ways that we live into justice and equity together. Some of us have much to give, some have little, and together it is enough. We are enough to work together for a world where every human can live to their best and most authentic self. Our Donate to Basket offering today will be added to the fund, which we will contribute to an agency helping the local housing crisis. The local action committee will present information about some agencies at our October Friendly Feast, and a recipient will be chosen at the November congregational meeting. All undesignated cash and checks with a D and B in the memo line will be put into this fund. If you donate electronically, be sure to indicate D, the B for your contribution. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you are on Zoom, virtual giving options are available by the website, springfielduu.org. Today's offertory is What a Wonderful World / Over the Rainbow by George David Weiss and Bob Thiel, performed by Paul and Steve.
Actually, that's wrong.
Oh. Well, I'll let him correct me.
That's your fault. We decided a wonderful world and that one wasn't quite ready yet, so we changed it to something we both know, which also has a lot of earth overtones in it, so that's great. This is Annie's song by John Denver, and Steve's gonna start it off whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Don't mind me while I throw my device. I am Reverend Michelle Scott Huffman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the minister here at First UU. I'm a middle-aged woman with short, spiky, salt and pepper hair, wearing khaki pants and a teal-ish kind of shirt today. And some days I feel like I should just stay in my seat and keep my mouth closed and let the music continue. And this might be one of those days. So thank you for all the incredible music today, and the ways that Spirit is alive in that for us. Today's message is a continuation from last week when we began discussing elemental faith for urgent times and exploring the teachings about rituals and teachings and rituals connected to the four elements in various world religions. In many of the world religions, people turn to the elements of earth, fire, air, and water for inspiration, for teaching, for power, for all kinds of different things. These elements have been present in ancient understandings of the world and exist in the teachings of many religious and non-religious worldviews. Our conversation last week about earth and air invited us to remember our connection to those elements, to ground ourselves in them, and to be aware of our physical and spiritual dimensions that connect to those elements. As I closed last week, I offered this invitation. Let us take the time to rest in our connection to soil and air, to remember how we are forged, to put our bare feet and hands in the soil and to fill our lungs with air and feel the breeze on our faces. And next week we'll turn to fire and water, the elements we use to forge or co-create what is needed in our time. And so today we turn to those other two elements, fire and water. When I think of fire and water together and about their spiritual meaning, I can't help but think of the goddess Brigid, and also the saint in the Christian church by the same name. Some people call her Bridget. Their stories and the lore that surrounds their lasting spiritual influence are inextricably woven together, as much of pagan and Christian lore is. So whether goddess or saint or some luminous blend of both, Brigid's presence burns bright across time, flickering between hearth and altar, poetry and pasture. Born into slavery, raised by a pagan chieftain and baptized into a Christian tradition, Saint Brigid defied the logic of power with the radical abundance of compassion. She was said to have given away her father's jeweled sword to a leper, enraging him, but awakening the king's awe, and in that moment was set free to follow her faith. Brigid is one of the most beloved saints of Ireland, probably second only to St. Patrick and certainly first to some other people. Interesting that St. Patrick is known for driving the pagans out of Ireland. And so we hold these two in sort of equal reverence and curiosity. Brigid founded monasteries, most famously at Kildare, a place where nuns tended both sacred flame and sacred texts, illuminating manuscripts that were said to have been touched by angels. But long before she put on the habit of nunnery, she was worshipped as a goddess of fire, fertility, and wisdom. The daughter of, I'm not going to say it right. Somebody say it for me. Dagda, D-A-G-D-A. The divine smith. and a triple-faced keeper of poetry, healing, and the forge. Her feast day, both the saint and the goddess, February 1st, marks Imbolc and the first stirring of spring in Ireland, when daffodils bloom and milk flows, and when Brigid is still welcomed into homes with food, ale, and hand-woven crosses to bless the year ahead. Brigid is a patroness of poets and midwives, fugitives and dairymaids, blacksmiths and brewers. Whether she turned bathwater into beer or sorrow into song, all stories in the Brigid lore, Brigid is the holy presence who shows up where fire meets tenderness, where justice kisses the ground, where the sacred refuses to be confined by a single name or a single story. And the symbolism and iconography of Brigid include the eternal flame, signifying inspiration and life force, and healing wells, representing her connection to water and purification. In many spiritual traditions, fire is the element of transformation. It's a spark of creation, a force of destruction, the drive of passion, and water is the element of compassion. It cleans, heals, nourishes, endures. And so as we think about this connection between fire and water, we then can think about our own connection between passion and compassion, between the fire that burns within us and the needs of the world around us. It has been said that the definition of vocation is where your passion or your great joy meets the great needs of the world. And so I think about that as fire and water coming together. The Celtic saint and goddess Brigid embodies both. They are the keeper of the sacred flame at Kildare, the flame that has said to have been burning from even before her time and tended still today by religious sisters in that order. And so at Imbolc, also known as Candlemas, in the Christian tradition, people light candles from that flame. But Brigid is also a guardian of the sacred spring and well at Kildare, the patroness of sweet water, healing wells, and nourishing springs. Fire and water then in the Brigid stories are the instruments of the forge, of heat that forms iron and other metals and water that tempers it. Many of you don't know that in my former life, I was a jeweler. I owned a jewelry store, and I was very young. And the three of us who purchased the jewelry store from the third generation owners thought we knew what we were doing. And we were all about 26 to 28 years old. And all of the employees of the jewelry store, other than us, had been there in that store for as long as we had been alive. And they promptly quit. And as you might imagine, in central Missouri, there aren't a lot of goldsmiths sitting around waiting to find a job. And so of necessity, I became a goldsmith. I went to a couple of classes, I did on-the-job training, and I became our jeweler. And one of the most beautiful things that I got to do in that role was take a lot of times it would be someone's parents' wedding rings or some other piece of jewelry that had been important and passed down. And someone wanted to take that item and make something new out of it so that it would become theirs, but that it would still hold the meaning and the value that it had held in their family. And the process by which we did that was by melting down the piece, drawing out the impurities, and then when we got it shaped into the thing that we wanted it to be next, we dropped it into a bowl of water. And so in this experience of taking something old and sometimes what seemed ancient and held all of this wisdom and tradition, we burned it as hot as we could get it. We pulled out the impurities, and immediately when it hit the water, it became solidified into this new thing. Such a beautiful, beautiful process. And so when I think of Brigid as the patron saint or the goddess of the forge, I kind of think she's a little bit of mine. She's also, you might not know, the patron saint of beer, which I also greatly appreciate. So as the patroness of not only smiths, but of poets and healers, Brigid inspires our own acts of co-creation to meet the needs of the world in both ancient and innovative ways. The smith, whether a blacksmith or a goldsmith or any other craft person, uses fire to purify and recreate. The poet, whose sacred inspiration flows sometimes through blood, sweat, and tears. Their own craft, making something new over and over again with words and images that take on new life with every new arrangement. The healer, who uses fire and water to create tinctures and teas, to soothe aching muscles, to draw out what harms, and to make space for what heals. All of those are people who are using the gifts of fire and water. And the use of these gifts remind us that they aren't opposites, that they're partners, that they teach us how to live and lead with both passion and compassion, as I said, with courage and care. And so as we contemplate Brigid, her story, the legends, her lasting impact, her flame, and her well, we arrive at the elemental invitation that she offers to us in this time of urgency: to embrace creative tension, to embrace what comes to us as what can or should no longer be, and the gap between that and what we hope will be, with our own doing as a part of that making. To embrace that tension and to know that with fire and water, we can make something. And it's not necessarily literal fire, and physical water, but the ways that those elements live inside us. And so I want to offer today a meditation and a blessing from Starhawk. Some of you know who Starhawk is and read work from Starhawk regularly, but for those who don't, I will just say, this is not the Wikipedia bio, but this is Starhawk's own bio, which is a little different. Starhawk is an author, activist, and permaculture designer and teacher, a prominent voice in modern earth-based spirituality and ecofeminism. The author or co-author of 13, probably more books at this point. Some of the most impactful: The Spiral Dance, a rebirth of the ancient religion of the great goddess; The Fifth Sacred Thing, City of Refuge; The Empowerment Manual, a guide for collaborative groups. And the book that I've been using in the last 2 weeks and spending a lot of time with is called The Earth Path. So Starhawk offers to us this imagination of a cauldron of creative fire and suggests to us that first we get grounded in both the urgency and the anger that we feel. So I want to invite you for a moment, I know it won't be hard, to think about something that both invokes anger in you and that feels urgent. To think for a moment about what that thing or things may be. to imagine that we are called in this moment to do something about it. And when you're comfortable grounding your anger, we can move on to this next step. Starhawk writes, feel the anger, ground it, and then bring it back up as fire. Feel it warm your roots, your energy center at the base of your spine, activating all your instincts and energies of survival. Now imagine a cauldron in your belly, a bubbling brew of creative power. Tell yourself, this is the fire in my cauldron, the heat of my passion. Feel the fire energy swirl and dance within you and build in intensity. Now begin to breathe it up through your body. If there is some place in your body that needs healing, bathe it with some fire. Breathe the fire up to your heart and feel it warm and bathe your heart. Breathe it up into your shoulders and out to your hands. And imagine it energizing your hands and your power to act and do. Breathe it up into your throat and imagine it strengthening your voice. Breathe it up into your third eye and let it strengthen your intuition. Breathe it out the top of your head like a fountain of fire. Imagine yourself like a blazing firework and imagine that all that energy is your creative power available to you now, a resource for you to use in bringing about change. And as you sit for a moment, recognizing your own power for the urgency of this moment, let this blessing of water wash over you, also from Starhawk. Praise and gratitude to the sacred waters of the world, to the oceans, the mother of life, the womb of the plant that freshens our air with oxygen, the brew that is stirred by sunlight and the moon's gravity, and to the great currents and tides that move across the earth, circulating the means of life, bringing warmth to the frozen Arctic and cool, fresh winds to the tropics. We give thanks for the blessed clouds and the rain that brings the gift of life to the land, that eases the thirst of the roots, that grows the trees and sustains life even in the dry desert. We give thanks for the springs that bring life-giving water up from the ground, for the small streams and creeks, for the mighty rivers. We praise the beauty of water, the sparkle of the sunlight on a blue lake, the shimmer of moonlight on the ocean's waves, the white spray of the waterfall. We take delight in the sweet singing of the dancing stream and the roar of the river and the flood. We ask help to know within ourselves all the powers of water, to wear down and to build up, to ebb and to flow, to nurture and to destroy, to merge and to separate. We know that water has great powers of healing and cleansing. And we also know that water is vulnerable to contamination and pollution. We ask help in our work as healers, in our efforts to ensure that the waters of the world run clean and free, that all the earth's children have the water they need to sustain abundance of life. Blessed be the water. I invite you to take a moment to think of the ways that fire and water meet within you. The ways that your actions draw upon the power of fire and water around you. And invite you, as you're ready, to bring your attention back to this space. I think we carry the spirit of Brigid with us. Maybe I think that because I feel like I have so many connections. But I think that the elemental quality of our connection to this earth and to all that came before us can help to propel us into a future where transformation is possible, where the spiritual tools that we gain when we come here together can help us to go out into a world that needs that kind of transformation as well, that needs love and welcome, that needs justice and action, that needs all the things that we can bring to it when we connect with our elemental selves that is so broadly connected to everything that has been and everything that will be. May we carry the spirit of Brigid with us, the sacred fire that sparks change and the sacred water that sustains life. May we become forgers or smiths of justice, poets of possibility and healers of a weary world. Let us be bold enough to burn with purpose and soft enough to flow where we are needed. In these urgent times, may we draw strength from the elements, from the earth beneath us, the air around us, the fire within us, and the water that moves through it all. And may we always remember that we are not alone. We are co-creators in a long, long lineage, as I said last week, called not to panic or paralysis in these urgent times, but to presence and participation. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude is You'll Never Walk Alone by Rodgers and Hammerstein, performed by Paul, Steve, and Colleen. That was beautiful. Thank you. I'm gonna say out loud right now, we are gonna skip the last hymn because we're running a little bit late, but we have something very important to do. So I want to invite Colin up from our religious education group to make a presentation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Colin. We just wanted to grab a couple of minutes. We really appreciate Sunday Services letting us take a moment to thank Lissa Dugan and Bryant Moore. If you two don't mind coming up, we want to show you our appreciation. These two have been the heart and soul of our children's religious education program for the last few months. It's been a wild time trying to organize things downstairs, and they have carried us through it, and we appreciate it so much with a lot of sadness. This is their last Sunday with us. They're wrapping up their activities related to their graduate degrees here in Springfield, and so they're headed back home, onwards and upwards for their illustrious careers. Oh, they've been doing graduate work in psychology, both graduating with their doctorates. And so we want to congratulate them, appreciate them, and just thank them so much for everything that they've done for our program downstairs, and say good luck for the future. We also have a small gift. I think we're just about done. So yeah, much thanks. They leave very big shoes. If anyone knows of someone who might be interested in joining us downstairs to not replace, because these two are irreplaceable, but someone who might find it fulfilling to be downstairs to help us out, please let us know. Thanks again.
I just want to say that having two of the main people helping with your children's religious education, being people who are finishing up a doctorate in psychology, feels like the most you thing I've ever heard. But also, please know that that's not a requirement, and that we'll need help filling those shoes. So thank you very much, you all. Friends, as we get ready to extinguish our chalice, I'll invite Ryan to come and do that, please. I would offer you this charge. Go now with the fire of courage kindled in your belly and the waters of compassion flowing through your heart. Walk lightly on this good earth, rooted like trees and open as the sky, ever listening, ever learning, ever becoming. May your words be sparks, and your hands be healing, and your presence be a balm in this burning world. May it be so. Having extinguished our communal and personal chalices, we will close with our unison sending words that are on the screen and in your bulletin. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Go in peace, friends.